Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Karen Marsdale. I'm on staff at the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance, and we're here again for another episode of Member Spotlight. And I'm thrilled to have with me Alex Garcia from the Wireless Center, PA. And Alex, your store, the business that you're involved in, is located in Wernersville. Mm-hmm. And so thank you for coming all the way into Reading and being with us this morning, or this afternoon rather. And right before the show we were talking about, obviously we all are very connected to our technology and whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. Our phone, our iPads, our tablets, whatever. And while it's a great resource, a great asset for everything that you do, whether it's in your business life, your personal life, finding things, how to get from one place to another through an app, how to find a good restaurant, etc. We were talking, you've been in this business for more than 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So a decade. So can you very quickly or succinctly, because I know this could be like a 3-hour conversation,
yeah.
of how much change there's been in that period of time in technology, particularly in our handheld device, or meaning our phones.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely technology has changed so much. We, like I was telling you earlier, we have access to information at our fingertips now. And what I notice is that as time goes on, we basically are integrating our lives more and more into technology. You notice it there. We have a product called Hum. And you can basically connect your car to it. There's apps on controlling your, thermostat in your home. There's all kinds of apps. So what I also noticed is that if you go back a decade, what was really important to us was calling and texting. Everyone paid for calling and texting. Nowadays, unlimited talk and text is like a given.
Sure.
We value internet way more now, so that's usually what more you pay for. But the devices have gotten so advanced as well. I can tell you, I went back a decade ago and I was tapping my phone really hard because I didn't know how to use it.
Or you had a flip phone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there were just and really I think we used phones then as really a necessity to. You're not stopping at a payphone. Those are now obsolete, obviously. Now they look like antique replicas of something that somebody would put in a rec room. And now it's, like you said, it's almost, if someone forgets their phone, it's almost like they're in a panic mode.
Yes, it's actually statistically shown. We used to worry way less about our cell phones. And for most people, it goes like mortgage, car, cell phone.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
It's not even mortgage, car, spouse or something.
No, it's not.
Something's wrong with this.
Yeah, cell phones is one of those. I personally can say myself that there's been times I left my cell phone and I was almost at work and I turned around for it because.
And you thought you couldn't live the day without it?
Me personally, no, because it ties a lot with my position. It's really how I stay in contact with other, locations and that sort of thing. We share a lot of information within each other. It may be there's a new promotion that was just released, or maybe there's a promotion that ended, and so there's a lot of.
I can see in the business that you'd have to be,
yes.
But clearly, I think that we've heard a lot, particularly lately, about almost this idea that we're addicted, that there's addictions to these things, and particularly that they are created to be addictive, which is frightening, number one, and number two, quality of life. We talk all the time in the business community about the fact that young people it's very hard for them to look eye to eye to someone and to have a conversation and to be conversational because they're just they're in the phone all the time. So there's the opportunity for an instrument that can be a tool, but then there's this other piece that becomes very much it really is frightening
Definitely, I do understand what you're saying there, and technology can be a good thing too. It is a double-edged sword.
It is.
It is a double-edged sword. Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. You do have those people that aren't disciplined and don't have that self-control. I actually have a good friend of mine that actually tells me, all the time, hey, we're too worried about our social life rather than our actual social life. But in all honesty, I think it comes down to, how you are personally.
Or maybe choices, making deliberate, definitive choices about what we will do and what we will not do.
Yeah, I've had plenty of customers blatantly tell me they live an alternate life online, and to me that kind of boggles my mind. I couldn't imagine me doing something like that. I'm actually not too active on my social media. I rarely post things. I more or less look at it as like kind of how you would look at a magazine or something, something of that nature.
We were talking a little earlier also about the fact that there are tools, and for many parents who are watching or listening to us, the thing that I think really does concern a parent today is, how quickly a young child, and when I say young child, I'm talking about more probably the age group that gets into a phone, and we'll talk about that in a moment, and has an expectation for a phone, and that they don't really have the intellect yet to understand what this means, and the almost like a 16 or a 17-year-old driving a car, and not realizing the power of a car when they come to a stop, so that that's something very physical, and this is something much more emotional. So, are you seeing children getting phones at a younger age than you would have a few years ago?
Oh, definitely. And it's kind of, it blows me away a lot of the times when I see parents, they have like a 10-year-old and they're getting them the latest iPhone. My job isn't to tell them what to or what not to get, but I definitely feel that it's something they don't need. Right. It's what we would call overkill, and again, like you said, you need to make sure that you get a device that is kid friendly, and there's tons of devices out there like that. If your biggest concern is, let's say, communication between you and your child, they don't need to get a smartphone to do that. They don't need to have access to like Google and all this information at such a young age. Right. I think at a certain point we have to let kids be kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but definitely, if you're a parent, you wanna educate your children on everything, cyberbullying. There's scarier things out there, but also you as a parent, you want to make sure you explain to them it's a responsibility. Right. You can't be going out here and communicating this, communicating that, doing that, searching that. So it's definitely changing, but I think there are options out there for everyone.
And I think that's maybe a good takeaway to end on, is the fact that again, we're as adults know, and we have a responsibility to act responsible, with using our phone in an appropriate way, in a professional way. For those who have children, and particularly, maybe don't feel the need, because I have a friend who has a 12-year-old and he wants the latest phone, and she said, no, you can't get that because that would cost us this amount of money, and this is not in our budget. And so it becomes just like that status symbol, like the sneakers do. And number one, and number two, be very sure that you are connected, finding the apps, as we were talking about, getting a handle on what your children are doing, and watching and texting and the things that that may be getting them into a place where it's not such a good place.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation to be had.
Well, Alex, I'm so glad you were with us today. I appreciate this information. It was interesting because I don't have children of that age in the house right now, but have had, and that was when we had to worry about landlines. So that was a whole other world. So.
I begged my father for a flip phone for a while.
See, so we went from that, and then it was the crank. Before that was the crank up phone. So anyway, Alex, thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate it. And thank you for your membership too.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. I got to say that you guys offer us a lot. I recently went to your picnic.
Wonderful.
Yes, that was actually one of really good networking ventures that we went on.
And we have something coming up for Taste of Berks, which is sort of our winter picnic. So you went. So you're gonna have to go to that in February.
Yeah. Actually, my district manager was talking to me about going to that. So yeah,
Absolutely.
So I'll surely be there.
So see, this is unsolicited testimonial about how great the chamber is for networking and for making those business connections.
It is. It's a great tool. It is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alex. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay.